All right, thanks very much, Amanda, and welcome everyone. So real quick, go over the agenda. First, we'd just like to cover expanding the keyword universe. Next, we'll go through using PPC to amplify the impact of SEO, followed by optimizing paid ads for your audience, and then aligning PPC with landing pages, why remarketing is crucial to your holiday campaigns, and finally a quick summary with Q&A. So with that, Larry, take us away.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan, and thank you, Amanda, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today. And audience, before jumping into all the great tips that we have prepared for you, I thought I might take a minute here to just talk a little bit about why it might make sense to invest in PPC right now. And PPC, as you know, it's slightly different from some of the other marketing channels which you may be already engaging in, such as content marketing and social media marketing, in that it has different characteristics. It tends to generate leads or sales immediately, whereas some of the other tactics like blogging or SEO, it takes a little bit more time to, say, build up a following on Twitter or accumulate like links for Google. And so if you absolutely need to make your end-of-year sales or marketing objectives, I think PPC is a great channel to be considering at this late in the stage here with this 1 month to go. As you'll see, that it has many similarities to SEO in that you're showing up on the same Google search results page. It's just that you'll be occupying a different area of the page and perhaps showing up on a greater diversity of keyword searches, and that it's instant. Additionally, you may have noticed that over the last year, Google's been on a bit of an ad rampage, and they've been sort of unleashing these kind of murderous zoo creatures like, pandas and penguins that, made it so that today that 85% of the screen space above the fold for keyword searches with high commercial intent, for example, a keyword search on like buy stainless steel dishwasher, these types of high commercial queries that trigger product listing ads, they take up 85% of the space. And research has also shown that paid ads generate 89% incremental clicks. And what I mean by this is even if you already have a first-page organic listing for a particular keyword search, if you do paid search in addition to having that first-page listing, 89% of the clicks that you'll get from paid search are clicks that you wouldn't have gotten from organic search. So it's incremental. Additionally, my colleague Aaron Wall from SEO Book, he's a SEO expert, he published a study earlier this year saying that 50% of the people, they can't even tell the difference between paid and organic search listings. Now, that might sound a little strange for us marketers because, of course, we look at this stuff so closely every day. But, to the average user who aren't really, up to date on how all this stuff works, including my own wife. Like I ask her sometimes, why did you click on that ad? And she just responds with it's for my convenience. I didn't want to scroll down the page. With Google, these search results are like magic to her, and so she doesn't really differentiate between the ads and the organic listings. So there's a lot of reasons to be considering paid search. And just one last little factoid that I'm going to throw out here. This summer, I analyzed some of the performance of the keyword searches with high commercial intent, such as the buy stainless steel dishwasher example, which triggered the product listing ads. And I calculated that for these types of valuable commercial keyword searches, that the paid ads actually soak up 2/3 of the clicks from this page. Now, this shouldn't be very surprising for anyone who does organic search, since we all know how valuable, a number one organic listings is, it's like these ads seem to be taking up, the first, second, third, fourth, and even fifth spot, it seems, in some keyword searches. Now, keep in mind, organic searches still generate far more clicks than paid search overall, but just for the subset of keywords with high commercial intent, we're finding that it's the opposite. And so just to figure it out for yourself, I would recommend the following exercise. Just do a couple Google searches on keywords that are valuable for your business, and just see what's happening there. Like, are there a lot of ads crowding up the space at the top of the search result page? And just ask yourself if you think you can afford to not be there. So in summary, I think it's just sort of a combination of this increasing prominence of the paid ads in combination with the potential to drive kind of instantaneous results. I think those are sort of the key reasons why I think we should be considering PPC right now, especially with just 1 month left in the year. Okay, so now that we talked a little bit about the why, I thought now we should talk about how to do this, like how to do PPC effectively for the holiday season. And in order to do this, Dan and I have prepared five expert tips for you to consider when creating your PPC campaigns. The first tip has to do with expanding your keyword universe. Now, of course, every HubSpot customer knows from the kickoff training that a key to success in SEO is to embrace long-tail keywords. And the neat thing about PPC is that this is also true for achieving success in PPC. In case you don't, for whatever reason, know what a long-tail keyword is, it's a type of keyword with certain properties. It's a keyword search that is very specific in nature, such as fun Christmas gifts for dad, which in general has a lot of nice properties that, like, for example, it'll have less keyword competition than, say, something more generic like Christmas gifts. And it's going to be very rich in searcher intent and commercial intent, meaning the person who executed that search is going to be looking for something very specific. They're further down along the line in the purchase cycle, in the funnel. Someone executing this search, fun Christmas gifts for dad, he's probably ready to buy, and it's therefore more valuable to your average business. And as just a general rule of thumb, I consider search queries containing, say, 3 or more words within that search phrase to be a long-tail keyword. It's just a rule of thumb. Now, to understand the value of these long-tail keywords, it's worth describing a little bit about how the AdWords auction works. How specifically does Google decide which ads to show for what search? And how does Google decide how much is the price of each click? And the answer is that every time someone does a search on Google, billions of times a day, Google runs an instantaneous ad auction in real time. So, who gets entered into these auctions? Advertisers get to precisely identify which keywords they'd like their ads to show up for, and they're also allowed to specify the most they're willing to pay for a click if someone searches on that keyword that they've specified. Google then tries to figure out which ads to pick from the auction pool by analyzing the quality and the price of the contenders. Similar to an organic search, a paid search listing in a prominent top ad spot means more exposure and more clicks for your ads. Google's ad auction automatically determines the order of the ads by looking at 2 equally weighted factors. The first is maximum cost per click. That's the most you're willing to pay, and you specify that on your own whenever you add a keyword into your AdWords account. The second factor is quality score. That's Google's grade of your keyword on a scale from 1 to 10. It's based on the relevancy of your keyword, as well as the relevancy of the keyword to the ad and the landing page, and it's mostly based on your ad's click-through rate. Meaning, if people click on your ads very often, it's mostly, Google can infer that this is exactly what people were looking for. It's going to get a good quality score, and conversely, if you have a bad quality score, that probably means that your ad isn't very relevant, and so you'll get a bad quality score. Ad rank is calculated by multiplying your max CPC times your quality score, and the ad with the highest quality score gets the coveted top spot. Just moving along here, I just wanted to show a quick example here showing that even though Advertiser 2 here was willing to bid $4, which is twice as much as Advertiser's 1 bid at $2, that Advertiser 1 can still get the top spot if he or she has a very relevant ad experience. And just moving along here again very quickly, the other question is like how much does Google determine what you pay for that click, and the price is actually also inversely proportional to your quality score and your relevancy, which is super key for success here. And the formula, it's just the ad rank of the person below you times divided by your quality score. And so in this example, the key takeaway here is just to show that Advertiser 1 pays less than Advertiser 2, even though they got the top spot. So they're paying less for an even more prominent position. They're paying $1.61 if someone clicks on the ad. And that's, has everything to do with the relevancy and the quality score, which brings me back to the long-tail keywords. So now that I've kind of shown how the auction works here, and the key takeaway here is you need to get the good quality scores. And so let's see how these long-tail keywords are relevant to how to find these long-tail keywords that are relevant to your business. And then one great source that I have here is to look at your own web analytics account, just to run an organic keyword search report to find out the words that people were searching for immediately before they found your website. It's like outsourcing your keyword research to your customer prospects, and I think that this can yield all sorts of hidden gems. You can even apply filters like view only the keywords with conversions, or in order to find the most valuable keywords in your list here. Now, the challenge with this approach, while it is very effective and valuable, the two challenges are that it's only going to show you keywords that are already driving traffic to you in the past. That doesn't necessarily reveal to you promising keywords that you might be missing out on. Secondly, Google Analytics initiated a change in how they report on this data a year ago, and they started redacting organic search query, showing not provided instead of showing the actual keyword search query. Today, this impacts over 50% of searches and is likely to get worse in the future. So, a possible other approach, or secondary approach here, is to use long-tail keyword research tools, and WordStream is one such provider of third-party keyword research tools. We have this tool called the Keyword Niche Finder, which is a free tool that is available from our website, and you can just use this and other keywords to help you go after keywords that you're not already ranking for in order to cast a wider net in terms of the searches that you want to rank for and drive traffic for. The Keyword Niche Finder from WordStream is powered by a trillion keyword database consisting of really awesome long-tail keyword ideas. And I can show you how this works here. One of the really cool things here is that we automatically categorize the keywords, these long-tail keywords, into tightly themed buckets. So, for example, in the search for ski jackets, we've categorized keywords into women's ski jackets or men's ski jackets or North Face ski jackets. We're trying to classify keywords by the intent of the search so that you can go about using these long-tail keywords to create customized ad text and landing page experiences that match up exactly with the intent of what the searcher searched for to get those high-quality scores that are so valuable for the reasons we just talked about. In fact, my product, WordStream, sells a product called PPC Advisor. This product has a very super easy PPC campaign builder that uses all of these best practices around keyword grouping of long-tail keywords in order to maximize a quality score. It's a simple 5-step process, and really it just involves picking a topic and then specifying some settings and writing an ad. The whole thing just takes 2 minutes and will ensure that your PPC campaigns make a great first impression, which is very important to get out of the gates with a good first impression there. Okay, so my second tip here is to use PPC to amplify the impact of SEO. As you can already see, from the previous point, that PPC and SEO are highly complementary marketing activities, and that a skillful inbound marketer could be leveraging the PPC data to inform things such as the SEO content creation, as well as topic selection for blog articles, etc. Let me show you what I mean by this. As I mentioned earlier, PPC is nearly instantaneous. You can turn it on and it'll be live in just a few minutes. Very quickly you'll be generating a decent amount of clicks to your site. And in the process, in addition to those valuable clicks, you'll also be generating a ton of data around all of the keywords that you've picked, as well as their performance metrics. And this data, it's very super targeted to your audience because you can geo-target your campaigns to just the cities or regions that you care about, or just the time of day that you care about. It's like running a really ultimate, powerful customer survey. And these metrics, these PPC key metrics, such as conversion rates, click-through rate, cost per click, total cost, these are metrics that aren't necessarily available in SEO anymore because of the keyword not provided issue in analytics, and that they're very valuable. And you can, as I was saying earlier, you can use this incredibly valuable data to inform and prioritize your SEO creation and optimization efforts. For example, writing a blog post that answers the questions that people are asking as they search for your ads. Or additionally, you could be using the keyword data to optimize your existing content. Organic search and content creation, it's a very time-consuming process. Even just writing one blog a week is hard. And so focus is the key. By focusing on the most proven keywords with the most conversions and the highest conversion rates and the highest number of impressions, et cetera, or some combination of these valuable key metrics, you can far better prioritize your SEO content marketing workflow. And in fact, that's what I do here at WordStream when I do my blogging and stuff like this. And I can tell you that this is a very effective strategy. I'll now turn things over to my colleague Dan from HubSpot, who's going to talk about our next two tips. Take it away, Dan.
Thank you, Larry. Thanks. That was great information. So first, just want to start out talking about optimizing ads for your audience. This is something that's exceptionally important. As Larry mentioned, click-through rate is something that is super important to Google. Right off the bat, your click-through rate is going to have a huge impact on your ad rank and your overall performance and the cost of your ads. So we'll go through this initially. So starting out, when are people searching? This is something that's super important because what you want to think about, especially if you have a limited budget, is you want to make sure that you're spending your money during the most effective parts of the day, specifically for your campaign. So you may find that depending on your particular business, vertical, or industry, that there are certain hours of the day that are more effective from an overall cost per lead or cost per sale for your actual industry. So what I would recommend is kind of during your first week, or if you're currently running a campaign, take a look at about a week, maybe 2 weeks data, and look at the conversions by day. So you can go in and say, okay, I may be spending X% of my budget from the hours of 9 a.m. to noon, but I'm really getting a better cost per lead later in the afternoon, and maybe some of the other advertisers' budgets are starting to expire. So it might make sense for you actually to shift some of your money and flight the afternoons a bit heavier than the mornings. Similar approach with day of week. This is another thing that we found when optimizing our own campaigns here at HubSpot or for some of our clients. We'll find that perhaps earlier in the week or perhaps the weekends actually are more efficient. And this just depends on search behavior and conversion rates within your industry. But if you can really take a look at which days are the best performing days and what part of the days are the best performing times of the day, you may find you'll be able to save some budget and actually make your campaign more efficient. Within Google, you can just see it's very easy to set up. So within your campaign, you can go in and you can very, very easily, with a couple clicks, set up which days your campaigns are going to run and which hours as well. One thing just to keep in mind, which is sort of why we're here, is seasonality. So specifically, the takeaway from this slide is the mindset. And I only talk about this because you should be thinking about this when writing your ad copy. The mindset, in this particular holiday season is it's last minute, right? People want that instant gratification. They really need whatever it is that they're searching on now. So when you're writing your ads, feel free to be aggressive. Make sure you have your call to actions and make sure that you can give them, exactly what they're looking for at this moment. One thing also to keep about is what are your potential customers' wants and needs. So again, as we think about the mindset specifically in this holiday season, the decision process. Right, so it starts at the beginning, right? There's a need for recognition. So, for instance, I recognize that I need to buy a holiday gift for my girlfriend. I then do an informational search, and I realize that, I only have a couple weeks. So I look and I evaluate the options on Google, and this is really when PPC comes into play. It's during this evaluating options and then the purchase. So know that in the person's mindset, they know that they need something, and now they're starting to evaluate some of the ads around it. A few things to keep in mind here, ways you can make your ads actually more relevant to your users. One way was just thinking about demographics. So think about who exactly is searching for your ad. So for instance, if you're selling products that particularly relate to families and someone with children, it may make sense actually to call out, sons or daughters or those types of things within your ad. Whatever you can make people really self-relate and self-realize within your ads, it'll be all the more relevant to them and give them more of a reason to click on your specific ad as opposed to all the other options that they have on Google. Geo-targeting, this will make sense for some campaigns and not for others. But if you do have a more localized brand, specifically here within the Boston area or perhaps within New York City, if you can write that into the ad copy, it'll A, make the ad more relevant, and then B, on the click side, it'll actually be saving you money because obviously you don't want clicks coming in from California if you're only serving ads or meaning to serve ads here within Boston. Google ad copy. So this is just one thing to keep in mind. You can do a bunch of different things when writing your ad copy, and one of the things you can do is called dynamic keyword insertion. And basically what this does is it allows the search of the actual query to become your title. So as we talk about relevancy and what generates the highest click-through rates, it's really when people perform a search on Google and they see whatever it is that they searched for within the ads. So if I were to type in Christmas gifts, and I was using dynamic keyword insertion within my ad copy, that exact query would come up as the title. Now, there's various ways that you can play around with dynamic keyword insertion, which are some of the options here. You can make both of the, if the search query was Christmas gifts, you can make both of the words both be capitalized. You can have one or the other be capitalized. It'll be interesting, I think, for you to play around and see what actually generates the highest click-through rates, and then try and focus the majority of your ads around whatever that strategy is. This just gives you a more visual view of kind of all the different options that you have. And this sort of is more on the keyword side. So as we know, when you have keywords within your account, you can have them set to exact match or phrase match or broad or modified broad, which are some of the various options. So for instance, exact match, right? If I type in the word formal shoes, that is the only query that I will show up for. However, if I had my keywords on phrase match and I were to type in, formal dress shoes, even though the query isn't exact, since I'm using one or two words that's actually within the query, it will show on phrase match. So these are various things to just keep in mind. Depending on which type of keyword approach you go with, it can also influence the way that you write your ads. And I wanted to show just a couple different ads because I always find it interesting when I go out. I mean, people are spending money on a per-click basis, so we really, really want to make sure that the ads are optimized. So first and foremost, keyword relevance. So is the search query present in your ad? Right? Here's an example with running shoes, and you can see when I perform this search, Zappos on the left-hand side, they've done a great job at actually incorporating the term running shoes right within that ad, while on the Nike side of things, the word running shoes is nowhere even within the ad copy. So that doesn't really make sense in terms of relevancy. I wouldn't expect a high click-through rate on Nike's side. Second of all, call to action, right? Is there actually a call to action, something that's telling a person to do something and to do it now? When we look at the Blue Cross Blue Shield ad over on the left, you can see they're asking people to get health quotes now, right? It's a relevant title. They've explained a little bit about what's going on, and not only do they have an apply now, but they have a get quotes now as well. Where over on the healthcare side with Celtic Care Health Plan, while it's great that they call out high quality coverage and low rates, there's no real call to action. There's no urgency. There's nothing that's really making me click on the ad. So just something else to keep in mind. Thirdly here, value. Just what is the actual value of the ad? As we move down here, we have an example with Ralph Lauren and Macy's. And while, again, I've typed in polo sweater, and Ralph Lauren is very reasonable ad to come up, but there's nothing there that's really speaking specifically to the value of this search or what they're offering me, right? It's shop official website for Ralph Lauren sweaters, which is sort of relevant, but over on Macy's side, they're talking more about Ralph Lauren apparel and free shipping with a $99 order or more. So in my mind, now I know, okay, great, if I'm planning on spending that much, I'll get free shipping. So I'm more inclined to actually click on the Macy's ad. And then finally, on the proposition side, what is it that you're actually proposing? So here we have a search for satellite TV, and we have direct TV, and then digital landing. And starting on the right-hand side with digital landing, there's really no proposal here. They're just saying that, they are the answer to your secret in finding cable's best deals in the area. Whereas direct TV, they're proposing, $29.99 a month, free startup installation when you choose direct deals. So they're actually speaking directly to my ad. So when you're writing your ads, try and make them as relevant and focused on the actual query as you can, because that way you'll see a higher click-through rate. Moving on, aligning PPC ads with landing pages. This is something that I'm very, very passionate about because I think when we're looking at paid search, you see sort of pre-click and then post-click optimization that's able to go on, and this is really on the post-click side. And my number one recommendation here is avoid friction. And And what I mean by that is just aligning the title, the copy, the images, and then the landing page experience. Because think about it, right? When people are going on to Google and they're typing something in, they want to always see consistency. So if we go into Google and we type in personalized ornaments, which is a very relevant term someone would be typing in now, here's what they would potentially see on Google. They have all these different ads on Google talking about personalized ornaments. And the one that we perhaps choose to click on here, personalized ornaments in the title, it's talking about free shipping. It's specifically talking about personalized holiday ornaments. So from my perspective as a consumer, this seems like a very relevant ad to click on. So let's see what happens when I actually click on it. Well, now we're taken to a landing page where free shipping, the message carried to the landing page. However, there's nothing about personalized ornaments. So here, I thought initially before I did the search, right, which was kind of that need of the recognition stage, I thought I need personalized ornaments. I went to Google, I performed that exact search query, I saw that exact title within the ad, and now I get to the most important part of the experience, and there's nothing here about personalized ornaments. This gives me a much higher reason to actually just leave the page and abandon the search altogether. Now, if we try to do the search again, you'll see, if we click on a different ad here, the ad is similar, right? They're talking about personalized ornaments. They have many to choose from. Here are Bronner's. And if we click through to the landing page, it's a much, much more relevant experience. This is exactly what I've been looking for. It's an opportunity to get personalized ornaments. I can buy them now. I have various options. So it's a much more relevant overall experience when you actually align the need with the search, with the ad, with the landing page. And these are just things to think about. Obviously, as Larry mentioned, more people are starting to click on paid ads with some of the various changes that Google is making, but we want to make sure that the industry overall is well respected. So if you can really make sure that you carry that experience from start to finish, it'll make sure that your campaigns overall are all that more successful. And then, Larry, if you could talk a little about remarketing.
All right, thanks, Dan. I think those are some really awesome tips for ad text and landing page alignment and for optimization, so thank you for that. My last tip here, it's talking about remarketing, and basically remarketing, it's a very powerful advertising targeting mechanism available on the Google Display Network that will allow you to target your abandoners. It's pretty powerful, pretty profound stuff here, meaning you can target the people who visited your site but didn't convert into a sale or a lead just yet. And what's all this about? It's according to different studies from Forrester and from Google and even from WordStream, it shows that on average, 96% of the people who visit your website will then leave the site without having completed the action that you want them to do, such as completing a Contact Us form or purchasing your product. And so just another stat here, that 70% of people who put stuff in their shopping cart will actually fail to complete that checkout process. And so this can be very frustrating because you know how hard it is to get people to your site through creating all that content and all that social media marketing and stuff. We work so hard to get people to the site, and yet so few of the people, 3, 4, or 5% of people end up converting. That's like the typical conversion rate. And so if only there was some way to figure out who those abandoners were and to target them with a very targeted messaging to prompt them to come back and finish what they started in order to improve your conversion rates. And that's exactly what remarketing is. That's exactly what this is designed for. It's one of the most effective targeting options in the Google Display Network from a lead generation or e-commerce perspective. And how it works is as follows. Simply, first a visitor arrives at your website, and that can be through any source. It's not just paid search. It can be someone arriving to your site through email marketing or through organic search or direct traffic, or someone reads a review of your product and then clicks on that link and goes to your site. It doesn't matter. The point is you place a JavaScript code on your site and which then tags people with a cookie. If you want to be more clever about this, you can even tag people, only certain people who who visit a valuable page on your site, such as your checkout page or your Contact Us page or your pricing page, because that way you'd be focusing on not just everyone who visited your site, but people who express high intent by checking out your pricing or something like that. So the point is you tag these people in order to create what is known as an audience, your custom audience. And once tagged with that cookie, Google can then follow those customer prospects of yours as they navigate from site to site across the web and target them with ads, which will gently remind them to come back to your site and complete the desired conversion action, whether it be a purchase or a lead gen form. The Google Display Network, it's an enormous network of 2 million websites. It includes huge sites like the Weather Channel or CNN, as well as millions or thousands of niche sites and blogs for every imaginable topic. It also includes some really big Google properties, such as YouTube, which gets over 1 billion views every day, as well as Gmail and Blogger. I'm sure people use these sites. It even includes mobile apps, such as popular games, such as Angry Birds or Words for Friends or whatever. So you can basically target these users and gently remind them about your business and reminding them to complete their inquiry or purchase across all of their internet activities, games, sites, big sites, little sites, Google properties, and it's a very effective way of just staying top of mind. And the Google Display Network is just so large that within a month, you'll be able to remarket to 84% of the people that you've tagged, and then you'll be able to reach them multiple times, between 10 or 18 times per month. And with just 1 month left in the year, would you like to reach out to your abandoners an additional 10 to 18 times this holiday season? If so, I would recommend setting up a remarketing campaign and then just kicking up your feet and let the money rolling in here. Just in all seriousness, WordStream, one of my core values as a company, it's transparency. And what this means is, I would not recommend doing something that I myself wouldn't invest money in. And so I can let you know that WordStream, my company, does use remarketing on the Google Display Network to do lead generation and to do the conversion rate optimizations. And I can tell you it's one of our most successful marketing channels. And in addition to having improved the conversion rates at a very attractive cost per lead, we've also noticed a significant uplift in brand recall. It's probably because we hit them 10 to 18 times a month with the reminders here. And I think this is a fantastic secondary benefit of remarketing on the Google Display Network. So with that, I'm going to turn things back to Dan for the summary. Take it away, Dan.
Thanks, Larry. All right, so just a quick wrap-up to make sure we can kind of extrapolate the key points of this webinar. First, if you're not doing paid search right now, just keep in mind you can be live in minutes, but be thorough. What I mean by this is pay close attention to your campaign builds. Make sure you have very relevant ad copy, speaking as closely to the keywords and the search queries that you're actually going to be showing up on. Because as Larry mentioned, your click-through rate in that ad rank it's so important that you have a high-quality score to make sure that you have the lowest CPCs and the highest possible rank within Google. If you are already live, ways to optimize and focus, some things we talked about. There might be opportunities for you to expand geo-targeting, time of day optimization, or day of week optimization. This is a tactic that I've employed for years, and every time we do it, it always tends to bring down our overall CPLs and really improve efficiency. As Larry mentioned, PPC and SEO are complementary. With Google, the way it looks right now, the lines are really blurring between where the paid ads and where the organic ads, and people don't really know. And I think we're seeing less and less people choose, am I going to click on a paid search ad or an organic ad? They're more looking at what is the right message, what message most relates to me, what can I most self-identify with, and they're looking more for that type of an ad. So if you are running SEO, it's always great to complement with a bit of PPC. Number 4, avoiding friction. Just make sure you have consistent messaging and a consistent user experience from start to finish. And by start to finish, I mean from the search query to the ad to the landing page. So whatever the search query is, make sure that you're speaking directly to it within the ad. And whatever you're promising on the ad, please make sure to deliver on the landing page. Fifth and final takeaway, it's not over without a remarketing fight. One of my favorite tactics to follow up PPC, as Larry just went through, it's a fantastic way to sort of bring people back into the mix. Because obviously people are doing searches when they're at work, or the phone rings, or they're taking care of their kids. So they might have all intention to go purchase your product or sign up, but something may have just gotten in the way. So doing a little bit of remarketing is a great way just to remind them to come back and purchase.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Dan. I just wanted to let the audience know a little bit about my product, PPC Advisor, as well as the AdWords Grader. WordStream is the provider of PPC Advisor. That's a PPC management software solution. You can think of it as like HubSpot for PPC. It features the 20-minute PPC work week, and this is something that we've invented here. And basically what that's all about is that every week our software will do 1,000 man-hours of analysis on your PPC account, and we'll kind of do this analysis and prioritize and deliver to you the top 10 PPC optimization recommendations for your account, such as, what long-tail keywords should you be adding or removing, what bid adjustments should you be making, what ad text should you be replacing. And it's super easy to use, and it's going to get you on a path to PPC success in just 20 minutes a week. Now, if you already have an AdWords account, but are open to doing better in AdWords, and really, like, who wouldn't want to do better in AdWords, then I highly recommend that you can also try out our free tool called the WordStream AdWords Performance Grader. And this product, it's just like similar to the HubSpot website grader. We're grading your AdWords account, and it provides you with an instant audit of your PPC account and benchmarks all of the key metrics in your account against industry best practices, as well as sort of performance of your competitors, etc. And so you can try out the AdWords Performance Grader for free today at www.wordstream.com/Google AdWords, and you should give that a try. Dan?
Great, thanks, Larry. And just before we get to our Q&A section, I know you guys are all waiting for, obviously if you don't know about HubSpot, please check us out at hubspot.com/demo. We've just released latest upgrade of our HubSpot software, inclusive of SEO, blogging and social media, lead generation, lead management, email, and marketing analytics, and we are truly the all-in-one marketing software. And with that, thank you so much for joining, and let's get to Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. This has been very, very informative for me. I have a ton of questions. We've had quite a lot of people asking things. So my first one is going to Larry, and this is a good question that I'm actually very interested in as well. Is remarketing available for search terms like personalized ornaments, no matter what the site they end up on?
Okay, so remarketing, a great question. Remarketing is specifically about marketing to people who've visited your site. Okay, so, but that doesn't mean that there aren't many other ways of targeting your display ads in the Google Display Network. And one of those targeting options it's called remarketing. It's called the Google Display Network search targeting. And so what it does is it targets people who recently searched on something based on their search history with an ad. So you can follow people who've searched for Christmas ornaments or whatever, if that's the word that you want. Those ads, your Google Display Network ads, your image ads, will show up as they go around the internet, like the New York Times or whatever, even though they didn't visit your site. So Google's basically building up a profile of your gender, your interests, your recent search history, and it can then target you that way. It's very effective. But it's not remarketing. It's a different targeting mechanism. Hope that makes sense.
All right, great. Thank you. Dan, do you have anything to say about that? Okay. Then the next question I have is, this one's good for Dan. Where do you start if you have a very low budget?
Absolutely. It's a great question. So if you do have a low budget, what you want to make sure is that you can run a small test to make sure you can find out what works well and what doesn't work well, so that you can maximize the rest of your budget for the remainder of the month or whatever the season that you're spending in is. So what I would recommend is try and get as focused as possible. So if you can focus in on maybe one or two core products that you know have a really high sell rate or conversion rate, focus on those products. And then if you can also focus on specific geo-targeting regions, so maybe take a look at your Google Analytics and see sort of where the majority of your traffic comes in and where the majority of conversion rates come in. And then additionally, if you can really start kind of hone in, at least maybe in analytics or within sales records, see which days have the highest sales rates and then which time of day. So if you can really try and focus in the campaign that way, you can be sure at least you'll be spending your money, even if it's a small budget, as effectively as possible.
Great, thank you. Larry, what tools do you suggest people can use to help find them more keywords and where to really focus in?
Well, the two that I mentioned in the presentation today were your own web analytics, just looking through search query data. You could also look at your paid search data. So, for example, by running something called a search query report, if you're doing paid search, you can find out what were the exact search terms that triggered your ads and right before they clicked on your ad. Additionally, there are third-party keyword tools such as the WordStream Keyword Niche Finder. This is a free tool. You can try that out. It has 1 trillion search queries in there, so there's probably a lot of stuff in there relevant to your business. I think that's generally the best sources. Dan, do you have any to add there?
Yeah, I either use Google Search or HubSpot. We also have the availability that we've overlaid with Google and integrated as well, but WordStream is also a fantastic option.
Awesome, great. So a lot of people are asking about best practices for post-click optimization. Should it go to a landing page that has content people can download or to another part of the site that is more about the product? That would be best for Dan, I think, and then Larry can jump in.
Sure, I can take that one first. So it really depends on your industry or vertical. If it's something around the lead generation side, typically what we do here at HubSpot is we love to give away free content, but we do ask that people fill out the form, and this way we can follow up with people if they had any questions specific to the content or if they have any specific questions about HubSpot. So if you're in a lead generation business where it's in your best interest to follow up with people, if you're giving away free content or if you've built something that's free for people, I think it's okay to gate it, and I think it actually works within your best interest on the back end in terms of sales and conversion rates.
Great, thank you. Larry, do you have anything to say about that?
No.
Okay. I have a question for Larry. If a website was affected by the Panda update, will the quality score in AdWords be affected?
Well, on one hand, these are they're different. One is for the Panda update is an organic penalty for sites with thin content or duplicated content. And quality score has more to do with the click-through rate of your ads. However, where the two might come together a little in some way is that Google AdWords does look at the quality of the site that you're sending the ads to, and they may even ding you with low quality scores if they deem that if you haven't improved the quality of your site, like if it's not original content and it doesn't seem very compelling, it can actually be dinged either by a low quality score or could even be your account could even be suspended if it's just one of these scraper sites that kind of pulls together automatically like a content farm of aggregated content. So on one hand, it's they're different animals like Panda and AdWords quality score, but the whatever issue that caused the Panda penalty could result, like the thin content or whatever, or duplicated content, could result in some quality score issues as well.
Awesome, thanks. So I have a question here for Dan. If the click-through rate is one part of the criteria, does it make it difficult for new advertisers to have a low CPC but a good position?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you are new to the market, click-through rate is the most important thing that you really, really want to focus in on. I've spoken to a bunch of Google reps historically, even just running my own campaigns or running campaigns for clients. And in extreme cases, they've actually recommended that if I start it with a campaign and I see a very, very low click-through rate, actually just pause it and start again because that negative click-through rate could actually have a negative impact on your short-term history and then will impact your long-term history. And while you can change your long-term history, if you really have a need to just have your ads be showing now, you want to make sure you have the most amount of positive short-term history as you possibly can. So I would recommend when you are writing your ads, just make sure that you have very, very tight keyword groups, tight ad groups, and make sure that your your ad copy is as relevant as possible to the actual query to make sure your click-through rates can be as high as possible.
Awesome, thank you. So, Larry, we've had a lot of people ask that they actually have a very high quality score on Google, but they're not showing up on any of the pages for their Google AdWords. Is there something they're doing wrong? What is the best practice to go from here?
The best thing to do is to use a tool in Google AdWords called the Ad Diagnostic tool. It's a little bit more accurate than just self-Googling to figure out if your ads are showing up or not, because it's kind of like a system-wide diagnostic tool. You can enter in the term that you're looking for, like Christmas ornaments or whatever, and you can specify different parameters, like let's pretend that I was searching from New York City or something. Like you can set different parameters to see how Google would show the ad like in those conditions. And sometimes, like if you're just self-Googling yourself and not clicking on the ads, it could be just that some personalization could be happening here, that it's noticing that you're not clicking on the ad here, and so it's just not it's not monetizing the ads just to your particular IP address or whatever. Like you'll notice that your ads don't show up 100% of the time, and that varies based on various factors. And so I would try this diagnostic tool. If for whatever reason it says that the ads are not showing up, it'll describe to you why. It could be like various factors, and it'll describe exactly what the problem is.
Awesome, thank you. I actually didn't know about that tool, so that's definitely something very useful. So I have another question here. How do you find the right ad budget for customers on AdWords? And I think Dan can answer this one.
The right budget so I think that all just really depends on your industry. So I think what you want to take a look at is first when you're doing your keyword research, Google will give you estimates based off how many searches are going on per day or per week or per month. And so all the keywords that you plan to bid on, Google can sort of estimate if there's $100 worth of search traffic a day or $1,000 worth of search traffic a day. And then based off that, you can sort of decide internally what is the most amount that we're willing to spend. So maybe you start off with a small budget. Maybe it's $500 a day for a very small localized campaign. And depending if you have successes, grow there. I would say, start off very focused, start off small, and then whatever you see being in terms of the most effective part of your campaigns, you can always expand that way with more keywords, with more campaigns, and obviously with more budget.
Awesome, thank you. So we are getting close to being out of time, but I'd love to hear one more tip of the day from both Larry and Dan on this for our audience. Dan, why don't you start us off?
Sure. So I think from my perspective, it's really that end-to-end experience. You want to make sure that there's consistency and avoiding friction. I think all the things that Larry spoke to earlier in terms of setting up your campaigns and using tools like WordStream, all this work that you're going to put into the campaign just to get the click and you're going to be paying for, you really, really want to make sure that the experience post-click is consistent and relevant to the actual click. So as we went through with that personalized ornament experience, just make sure that whatever the search query is relevant and present within the ad, and the experience post-click is similar.
So I have one, that's great, Dan. I have one additional tip for the audience here that's probably not one that you hear all the time. It's a little bit different, but hear me out here. And I've done a lot of research into, like, we work with thousands of small and medium-sized businesses in helping them with their AdWords account here at WordStream. And I did a lot of research into why some are successful and some are not successful. And I looked at, like, quality scores. I looked at click-through rates. I looked at, dozens of different metrics. And you know what? The one data element, like the most discriminating characteristic of the successful campaigns versus the unsuccessful accounts, the most discriminating characteristic was actually account activity, meaning like the people who were diligent and trying to, review their account once a week or whatever, and add like negative keywords or optimizing their ads. Like the more that they did that and the more regularly, like the much higher the success. And so, just a couple stats here: 50% of small and medium-sized businesses, they don't do anything in their AdWords account in a typical month, like nothing, like no new keyword, no new ad, nothing at all. And so if you can just get into a kind of a mode of operation where you're working on your account and just doing some tweaks here and there and actually like optimizing your ads using the data that's being provided to you from the performance reports, then you will be way ahead of the average small and medium-sized business and will be on a path to success, I guarantee.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I know that I've learned quite a bit today from both Dan and Larry. We had a ton of engagement, a lot of great questions. If your questions weren't answered, feel free to continue to tweet out at them. Holiday PPC will try to answer as many as possible. And keep watching out for different blog posts we have answering these questions. So with that, I'd like to say thank you to Dan and Larry for taking the time out to speak with us today. And I hope you have a great rest of the day.